Welcome to Increase, where it is my task to increase, illustrate, and inundate you with information, knowledge, and overall help cause you to think. And I'm your host, Alpheus Gibbs Sr. Hello. How's everyone doing today? This is Increase, and I am your host, Alpheus Gibbs Sr., and I just want to welcome you to our 11th episode. I can't believe it. 11 times we've been coming together, sharing our noonday with each other every Monday and Friday. And so I'm so elated to have you here on this podcast. And I believe that we are going to increase you in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And so I want to just take a moment really quickly to just think about the fact that we're in the month of March. This year has just breezed by us. And I want to ask the question, what are you guys, have you guys been crushing it? Are you guys, really doing what you feel like you can do? What areas in your life do you feel like, I know this is March, but I'm so happy that I didn't give up and I'm just pressing and pushing forward because I know that I'm able to do that much more. And so I just want to, speak to you guys and kind of get where you are, gauge where you are, so that we can, move on from there. I don't want to seem as if, I have it all together, because I don't, but I do want to say that I believe that we are going to do some tremendous things together as this podcast continues to grow, as it continues to gain traction and momentum. I am dedicated to being consistent with meeting with each and every one of you. And so let's go into our topic. This month is March, and so we look at women's history. And I think about, people like women like my wife, women like my mother, my aunts, just women that have impacted my life, some 39 years. And it's just amazing. People always talk about the strength of a woman, but I also tend to look at also the care and the love that comes from a woman, the love and care that is exuded into other people's lives because of women. And so this month, even though we really focus it women's history on March the 8th, I really just want to take the time to just have you guys to really look into some of the women in your life. Maybe you are a woman and you need to read your own resume. Look at some of the things that you've accomplished in your life and really begin to celebrate who you are and all of your accomplishments. With that being said, I'm just elated again just to talk about today the power of words. And the power of words is something that I believe in wholeheartedly. I believe in it so heavily that I oftentimes share with just people around me without even realizing it. It has really become like a daily conversation, or a conversation that is really just an opener for people who really don't know who I am as a person. And I just want to share, a few things with you all on Increase, because we're increasing our knowledge, we're increasing our awareness, we're increasing, our vocabulary, we're increasing in every area of our life. This podcast, I didn't want to just put it in like this certain category, but I really wanted to let it be as expansive as possible while making sure that the audience, you who are watching, are able to receive and able to share and grow right along with me. I'm not a know-it-all, and I don't profess to know it all, but I do want to share with you my experiences and my wisdom that I have, as well as share with you, even my downfalls, share with you those areas where I'm lacking. So the power of words. We oftentimes we hear affirmations. We hear people say, you should wake up doing your affirmations in the morning, or you even think about the words that you pray. But here's something that we oftentimes really don't do, and that's really put weight on our words. Like really think about what we're saying. We only time we say that, think about what you're about to say before you say it is when you're upset with someone, when you are in a heated argument or whatever. And it's like, okay, make sure what you're about to say is how you truly feel, but because you know that you can't take those words back. And that's great. I think that we should do that more than just when we're in those kind of situations, but truly begin to look at those things and begin to understand that where you are and what it is that you're about to release, it's going to manifest itself. It's going to happen. You're going to see exactly what it is that you've been saying. And so, with that being said, our words are powerful. Our words are energy and they are life. And the words that you use can inspire generations. It can inspire individuals who are at their lowest point, or your words can be destructive and they can tear down. I oftentimes think about when it comes to the words that we use, think about how words are like water hitting or going over sedimentary rock. And the more the water continues to flow over it, the more it begins to carve out a little curve, so to speak, or a little gorge right there in that particular rock. And in that little piece that water is flowing over, it took time to get to erode that piece of rock away in those areas, but it was consistent in its flow, and it created something that could not have been done by any other means. And I look at that just as our words. Whether you're talking to your spouse, your girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever, significant other, or whether you're talking to your children, whether you're talking about a situation that you're going through, the more of the positive words that you release out of your mouth, and the more you begin to visualize what you are saying and believing it, the more you'll begin to see what it is that you've been saying. You know, the more you begin to talk positive to a thing. Even when it comes to plants, I remember even learning this in a class that I took in elementary school, that music and positive words can grow a plant. And we did an experiment for 3 months. We grew plants in our classrooms, and in those plants, we began to speak positive to them every morning. We came into the classroom. You spoke to it. You when you watered it, you began to sing. So many different things, and we began to journal that experience. Hey, I'm so glad you guys are on. And as we begin to look at that plant begin to grow, some plants, because we were speaking positive and they heard music, they began to grow even faster. The plant began to be more green. It wasn't because of the sunlight, because it was in a corner that got limited lighting. But we spoke positive to it. It heard it through the music that we listened to. And so we didn't play like rock and roll or anything, but we played classical music. We played some love ballads to the plants, and we began to watch it grow to the point where we almost had to take it outside because it was so big. And it's the same way in the things of our life, that if we begin to just speak positive to it, not when it's convenient, but every time you pass by it, hey, I see you're growing. I'm so proud of you. I love you. I'm appreciative of you. Thank you for, whatever person you're talking to, whatever situation you're dealing with, you begin to speak positive to it. And when you do that, you begin to build confidence in that person, in that situation. Things will begin to change. It will begin to change your perspective, even in those moments where you are upset, angry, or even sad, because of you having set a routine that when I pass by this person or this thing and I begin come into this room, I'm going to speak positive. I'm going to think positive. I'm going to feel the exact words that I'm releasing. You'll begin to see such a change take place. Hey, I'm so glad you guys are coming on. I know everyone is a little bit late, but it's all good in the hood. I appreciate you guys for spending your lunch break with me. The power of words are so ingrained within our fibers that we don't even realize that our words are energy and it is life. And so this is why oftentimes when you say to a person, or say around, say to yourself when you're around certain people that, man, I can't stand this person, you begin to lower yourself. You begin to lower your frequency. You begin to lower your thoughts. You begin to lower your confidence. And you continuously say this to the point that even when you get in a conversation with people, with that particular person, that now you begin to second guess everything that you say. And they haven't done anything, but it was the words that you fed yourself. Your words have power. Your words have meaning. Your words have energy. They have life. They can bring life and they can also bring destruction. Those who are Christian and they believe in this, and that is life and death is in the power of the tongue. Buddhists and Hindu believe in a similar concept of positive speaking, but also understanding how destructive your tongue can be. And so because of those things, that they begin to govern their conversation, and they even have a practice wherein they begin to say, limit the words that you use, not outwardly, but internally. Because the words that you use internally begin to manifest in your actions. So in order for them to remain in a state of peace, they will begin to speak internally peaceful words. And so today, if you could get 3 words that would automatically, every time you find yourself getting anxious, anxiety to rise up, or anger, or whatever, what would those 3 words be? What are 3 words that you could recite to yourself that would bring you back into focus, bring you to a place wherein you're like, I'm inspired again, bring you to a place where you're like, all right, I can handle this, I can do it. Those three words, as you continuously repeat them, they become like your affirmation. They begin to shape and mold who you are. They begin to mold and shape how you react. Instead of you reacting in a different in a certain manner from your past, you begin to find yourself reacting in a different manner. You begin to even look at people from a different perspective, because now you'll look at things and go, I'm not even, that's not even worthy of stopping me. Like you can't hinder me from what I am purposed to do. You know, those words remind us of not only our purpose, but remind us of our assignment in life. Some of us, our assignment in life is to bring peace and joy to people. And because of that assignment, you're going to run into people who are always going to try to poo poo on your parade. But in the same token, there are others who are inspiration by way of letting their words and their actions be expressed in a manner that it may be released in the form of musical notes or paintings or songs. And you're going to find those people who seem like they are an emotional abyss. They just suck the life out of you. They just engulf everything that you say. And um but you have to set up a system in which you are around others who are like you. That way you begin to bring about what is called synergy. Synergy is that active movement of not only energies, uh, but also emotions and movement. A lot of times we're not successful in life because we're around people who are not like us. They're not they're not in the same field and crafts that we are in. Because when you find musicians who are free and they understand who they are, and they're solid in their being, when you get them together to for a jam session, the music is just, for the untrained ear, you would think it's chaotic. You would try to figure out how are they able to play with each other, because it seems like there's really no rhyme or reason to how they're playing. But because they're all on the same level, they can play and begin to move and jam. And it's almost as if they've been playing together all their life. But a lot of times you and we're not always around people who are like us. And so instead of us building and growing, we find ourselves fighting and pulling and dragging ourselves. So then the issue now becomes, I need to begin to change my words, because my words begin to shape my surrounding. And when I change my words, now I begin to say, no, I'm not looking for my tribe, but I'm actually creating a space so that others who are like me can come and feel free. Are you a safe space for words? Are you a safe space for like minded people? Are you a place where people can come and sit and not be a dumping site, but find inspiration even in the fibers of your couch? If I was to come to your home, what are the words that you have released in your home has shaped how your house looks? What is it in your life that is truly um shaping where you are and what you have? What you have is by way of the words that you have released. So the power in our words can bring in, can attract, or it can repel and push away. Today, if I could send you a list of words and say you can only use these words for the next 3 days, would you be more meticulous in the words that you use? Would you be more cautious of how you even use your words? When my sons are upset, my wife, she's great at this. She goes, okay, I know you're upset, but use your words. Use your words. I want to understand what you're saying. And then she'll say that a couple of times, and then you'll see them automatically calm down, and then they'll begin to try to share how they feel. Many of us that are adults who are watching this and who watch this later, you guys have gone through so much that certain words have been beaten out of you. Your word of confidence, your word of self, I don't want to say control, but um, I'll just say your confidence in yourself has been depleted. And right now, your frustration is you're trying to find your voice again. Start by just saying positive things about yourself. Start by actually looking at who you are as a person, not the mistakes that you've made, not the people that you hang around, but really begin to go, this is who I am. I'm a person who loves this kind of music. I like eating my food this way. I like going to these places. I find this funny. These are things that I dislike. These are things that I wish I would change about myself. These are when I hear this is what comes to my mind. Sometimes we spend so much time using our words to talk about ourselves in such a negative way that when you look out at the people in front of you, you want them to see you want them to see value in you that you don't even see in you. So if you don't see the value in you, the value in your words, then how are you going to require other people to have value in you and in your words? When even when you say words and release your word, you don't even believe in what you're saying. So it's not that you're not able to convince or to persuade or that people aren't even receptive of what you have to say. It's that you don't even believe in yourself. So yes, you do need to be self-aware. Yes, we do need to have self-confidence. I believe that we really need to begin to speak in a greater manner, in a better manner to each other. You know, even when it comes to the mistakes that are made, there's a way to communicate anything to anybody. And we've made the mistake, and I say we as a society, we've made the mistake of saying just because I said this is what you said meant that I understood what you said. And that's not true. Because just because you repeated what I said doesn't even mean that you heard me. Because there are many ways to communicate, but also you need to consider the relationship as well as the situation when you're communicating to a person. Because if you're in a heightened space, in a heightened sense of feeling, and then they're in a heightened sense of feeling, then someone between the two of you needs to calm down so that you can now begin to communicate and share what it is informational or your thought or your feelings over to the next person. Because if they're not receiving it or they don't understand what you're saying, then it stands to reason why you're standing right there at a bump that you should go over, but it's hindering you from moving forward in the relationship and in the conversation. Our words are powerful, so much so that when you are in, whether you're happy or you're sad, you're always replaying the words that a person has said to you. Whether you're in love and someone has begin to say to you, hey, I love you. And you're like, oh my God, I've really felt that they love me. And so you begin to, in your time away from them, replay over in your head how they said it, what they had on, and how they smelled. And you're still thinking about them saying, I love you, and you replying back, I love you. So even when someone has said something that is hurtful, it's not just the words, but it's who said those words. Even and so our words are so powerful that if we're not careful, if we're not paying attention, that we're going to begin to look at things and look at people and go, man, I really wish this would have been different or that would have been different. I'm thinking about not only the power of words, but even how words are formulated. You know how when you say a curse word and it really puts an emphasis on what it is that you're saying, it's not as if you're degrading the person you're talking to, but it puts a sense of heightency on it that that the other person, when they hear it, they know automatically what you're saying, how you're feeling. It's almost as if you put the perfect condiment on whatever item you're eating. That's even how our words are to those whom we love and even those who we're communicating with. That they, when they hear your voice, when they hear your passion, when they hear what it is that you have to say, they're like, man, okay, I get it. But we got to get to that place. And that way, in that place is happens when you get into a relationship with them and you understand them. Not so much as a dating, but just a relationship in general. Our words are powerful because even when we're dead and gone, what you have said to people will still ring in their ears. They'll still be relevant to that person's life, no matter what they go through. I'm getting ready to turn 40, and there isn't a moment that doesn't go by that I don't think about some of the things my father has said to me. And the things that he said were so impactful to me. I think about preachers that I've watched that have long since died and everything, and some of their sermons seem like they're just timeless. Your words have a way of traveling through time and through space and through situations that even when you're not there, they're forever being impactful in the lives of those who hear it. It's like when you tell a good joke and someone else repeats that joke to someone else, and then that person repeats that joke. Those words are carrying to people that you will never see, and you hope that that joke would bring laughter and joy to their life. I oftentimes even think about when people are going through things and how you really just want them to just say, "Hey, I'm here." It's not even that you're looking for them to say something groundbreaking or deep or whatever, but just to hear their voice because their voice is so calming. Yes, like listening to a song and then you start reminiscing when the first time you heard it, and you start thinking about what you were doing when you first heard that song. The first time you fell in love and you thought and you begin to think about some of the words that they've said. Or the first time you even got into a heated argument with someone and you like, oh, I really got the upper hand in this conversation or whatever, in this argument. Those things begin to play and in our minds, and it begins to shape what we do. Finally, because I'm not going to be with you long today, I got some stuff I really need to do. But I also want to say to you that your words shape the way you think. That's why it's often said, and it may sound cliche-ish, but if you are around four broke people, you're going to be the fifth, because their conversation and their way of thinking breeds over onto you. And so when you're talking to those individuals, their words begin to bring weight to you. I'm going to put it to you like this. There are conversations that you have with people consistently, and you may never agree with the things that they say, but you continuously hear the way they think over time, and you're not rebutting what they're saying with factual things or with your feelings. They're doing them, but those words are like bricks, and those bricks are forever shaping you, whether you know it or not. And before long, without you even realizing it, those bricks have made a building. And you'll find yourself that those words over the course of time has changed the way you change the way you think about certain things and situations. And so your words shape the way you think, and the way you think is the way you speak, and the way you speak is the way you move, and the way you move displays your habits, and your habits display your routine, and your routine reveals where you are right now. So if we can begin to change the way that we think, the power of our words, begin to understand how powerful we are by just the things that we say, how influential you are when you're talking to individuals, and especially like children. You know, you ask them, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they say, I want to be an astronaut. And you go, okay, well, you can't be an astronaut if you're not doing your homework. And you're going to be an astronaut if you're not going to do this. And you're not even realizing that your words are robbing them of the inspiration to be not just an astronaut, but just to be. Because you're saying to them that even at your most innocent moment, you're not going to get there because you don't meet my standard. And so they begin to second guess themselves and in essence kind of give up on a lot of things. Just think if someone would have kept doing that to Michael Jordan. He didn't even make the high school basketball team, but he became one of the greatest basketball players to ever play in the NBA. If someone would have told him, man, you can't make it in the NBA if you can't even make it in the high school basketball team, just think what would have happened. Who knows? Our words are so powerful that if you continuously speak those things, speak negative, and here's the thing, there are times that you have to tell people how wrong they are, but you also need to give them some kind of way so that they know how to fix whatever it is that's going on in their life. This is why humans are communal creatures. We are people who need community. We need interaction with each other, because when you are around people who are doing well, eventually you're going to start doing what they do. My bad eating habits didn't happen because I just wanted to eat bad. I was around other people who were eating bad. And so I picked up habits that were unhealthy. You hang around people who go to the gym all the time, they're going to continuously invite you to the gym. You're going to always go, no, I don't want to go. No, they're not fat people friendly. No, they don't want to, they don't let you make noise. No, it's too early in the morning. No, I don't want to go late at night. I'm always tired. After a while, you're going to start seeing their results, and it's going to begin to push you to go, you know what? I'll go with you this one time, all right? And then it's going to be it. And you're going to go, and they're going to say, listen, don't do too much. This is your first time, come with me tomorrow if I have time. And then they'll find themselves, they feel so good. They're like, well, you know what? I'll go with you. Okay. They worked out 2 days. Then they stop going. And they're like, oh man, I'm starting to feel bad. And then here come the guy, your friend who goes to the gym. Hey man, just come to the gym with me. You might feel better. They get back in the gym. They start feeling a little bit better. Before long, what used to be something that you would not do, you find yourself being in the gym now just like them. You can't hang around a person who is productive, who is organized, and eventually not become organized. No different than when you're around individuals who are when you were a child, being around a parent who really didn't push you. If there are people who are go-getters and pushers, then you're going to automatically become that kind of a person. So you really have to not only mind the words that you say, but also the company that you keep. But it's the power in the words that they release out of their mouths that either give you confidence or put you in a place where you begin to second guess yourself. And too often we're around so many people who are afraid to be themselves. They're afraid to step out and just crush it. To you, my entrepreneurs, to you who work the 9 to 5s, or whatever, continue to strive for mastery. Continue to strive to be better than what you were. Find ways to automate what you're doing so that now you can free up more of your time. So that now you can begin to focus on other projects and things, because that's a part of innovation. That's a part of life. The more you begin to read articles, the more you begin to read books, the more, there you go, master teacher, the more you begin to read and begin to expand yourself, the more vocabulary you'll have, and the more diverse you will be, and you'll be able to speak to people of various walks of life and open up even more opportunity for you or possibly someone else that you know. Our fear doesn't just come from the unknown. Our fear comes from lack of being able to conquer ourselves, to come out of our comfort zone. You got to begin to stand on who you are as a person, whether you are a master teacher or a songwriter, whether you are, whatever, no matter what your occupation is, you can be so much more. But we limit ourselves because we lack confidence. And our confidence begin to shape our words. And you begin to sound fearful and afraid when you talk to people. And you begin to get timid when you should be roaring like a lion. I want to inspire you today to be your authentic self, to get your voice back, to say that even though all of these things happened in my life, whether good or bad, it is not going to stop me from being who I am. I'm going to post this picture online on my social media, and it says, it's not the stab in the back that kills you. It's when you turn around and see who's holding the knife. Because it's in that stab. And we oftentimes think of the stabbing in a sense of someone doing something physically to hurt us or lying upon you. But oftentimes the stab in the back comes from people who don't even believe in what you are saying you're going to do. They're supportive in the things that you support them in, but they're not supportive of you in the things that you want for yourself. You tell them, you want a family or you want to be debt free or whatever, and they look at you and they release this verbal assault that is like a barrage of, oh my God, I cannot believe that I'm going through this, but I can't believe who it's coming from. You all are going to, you all are so amazing. This is why you join. This is why you watch Increase, because you are increasing. You're increasing in the smaller areas. It's not the deep things that take us to heights unknown. It's when you begin to make those small little changes in your life. Those of you who remember old school radios in the car or the boom box, you're trying to get this certain radio station. You had to play with the dials in order for you to really get the song or hear the song in the radio station that you truly want. And it's in those same things. God bless you. Oh goodness. It's in those small things that we need to begin to tweak and begin to change, because in our wording, a lot of times that's what takes us from we being in faith to we being in fear. It's the changing of the words. Because in the changing of the words, begin to change the mind, and it begins to change the heart posture, and it begins to put us in a position where we now begin to see what we've been saying, and now we begin to believe it, because I keep saying it over and over and over again. I keep, and the more I say it, the more I walk towards it, because now I believe what I say. My father never taught me to fear nobody or anything, and it wasn't that I was looking for a fight. But he just said that you're just as dangerous as the next man standing right there by you. And so I believe that if we can begin to look at how powerful our words are. We'll quit saying, I can't stand them, or we'll quit making statements wherein I'm believing for or to, and just saying, this is going to happen. I'm going to walk into my blessing. I'm walking in my purpose. I'm not finding it. I'm not looking for it. I'm walking it because I'm becoming what God has called me to be. I'm walking and I'm becoming whatever it is that I truly desire. If you want to be, an entrepreneur, you want to be, you want to work at whatever kind of job, just begin to speak it. All of a sudden, you'll start noticing commercials. You'll start seeing, all these things opportunities begin to come to you. It's in the words. It's how we say a thing, because our words have a way of changing our very lives, changing our very situations. And what we're seeing now is what we've been saying. So if you're in a place where you're uncomfortable and you don't like it, begin to change what you say. You and your spouse are at each other's throats, begin to change how you say things. Begin to refuse to argue with them. You're around friends who are not truly friends. Just begin to share how you feel. Begin to just talk it out and watch how things begin to shift. Your children are acting crazy or whatever. Begin to look at how you talk to them. Begin to adjust yourself, and the surrounding will in your area will begin to change automatically. It'll begin to shift and move right as you begin to change it. And being consistent in changing your wording and being consistent in what you're doing, and watch how things begin to work out for you. It's our increase. This is our podcast today. This episode 11. I'm feeling confident in what God has called me to do. I'm feeling confident in that this podcast is going to go to greater heights and deeper depths. And I begin to invite people to come on and we have conversation and dialogue, because I know that we're reaching individuals, and I know that this is increasing you in many ways. I'm not looking for major moves. I'm just looking for a step. And that step, whether backwards or forward, it's going to happen. You're going to move. You're going to begin to share this with people. People are going to start hearing your vocabulary change. They're going to begin to see your character begin to change and move, and watch what happens. Thank you so much. Thank you. Because I believe in it. And what you believe in, you'll get consistent with. And the more consistent you become with it, the greater chance of you being great at it. Just continue to be consistent. Continue to look at the power of your words. Begin to look at, I wish at times, and I said this to my wife a while back, I wish sometimes that when you said words or whatever, you having a conversation, that it would, a little balloon or a cloud will pop up like on the comic books, and your words will begin to be seen so others can read it. Because I believe that's how our words do. I'm a very animated way of person that thinks. I'm animated in the way I think, because as I talk, I have to see it, and because when I see it, I believe it. I'm walking into it. And so I believe that increase is coming to you, and I believe that you are going to walk in greatness because you're going to see the power of your words. So I hope that everything works out for you all on today, that you have an amazingly fabulous, stupendous kind of a day, and that no matter what takes place, you will see that you are worth everything you've been asking for. My name is Alpheus Gibbs. I am your host of Increase, and I'll see you on Monday for more out of this podcast.